Shema Hope you enjoy this next study. My name's Dee. This is my wife, Millie.
So if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you wish to reach out to us, you can email us at devotedtoyah@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you, White. Good stuff. All right. I chose to talk about the wilderness of sin, what that is. So I'm going to share my screen and show you guys what I copied and pasted. So sorry I didn't cite the sources, but it's I think one of them was from gotquestions.org, which is a Christian website that most people go to get, basic novice type of information about the Bible. Don't trust them with the law interpretation, but anyway, I just was browsing around Google, seeing what I could find, and this is what I came up with. The wilderness of sin is a dry, sandy wasteland in the southwestern part of the Sinai Peninsula, assuming that's where Mount Sinai is located. Okay, one of my pet peeves as I was studying, I was telling my wife, I don't like that there's so much information as skepticism and there's not a concrete, some people are not very concrete as in the geographical locations. That's a little frustrating for me. It is not my strength, okay? But just assuming that's where Mount Sinai was, okay? Regardless, this place called the Wilderness of Sin existed, and it was between these two places, as the scripture says, Elim and right here.
Which is between
they set out from Elim and Sinai. So this is a real place that we know is a fact, okay? But where it's actually at is could be a little questionable. The people of Israel entered the wilderness of sin not long after leaving Egypt on their journey to the promised land. We literally just read about it in chapters 12, 13, 14, and 15, okay? It says here, the wilderness of sin is one of 6 wildernesses through which the Israelites traveled on their way to Canaan. I thought this was fun to copy and paste here. The wilderness includes Shur, Atham, Sin, Sinai, Paran, and Zin. The wilderness of sin is sometimes confused with the wilderness of Zin, a region on the northwestern side of the Sinai Peninsula. The Israelites traversed the wilderness of sin at the beginning of the Exodus, arriving at the wilderness of sin on the 15th day of the 2nd month after they had come out of Egypt. They did not enter the wilderness of Zin until a year later. Located between the oasis of Elim and Mount Sinai, the wilderness of sin is mentioned only 4 times in the Bible, all in connection with the Exodus from Egypt. Immediately upon arrival in the desolate wilderness of sin, the whole community of Israelites began to grumble and complain to Moses and Aaron about the lack of food. That's where we're at today. The wilderness of sin is also called the desert of sin. Now, I just want to mention here, it says it's only mentioned 4 times in the Bible, all in connection with the Exodus from Egypt. I did find that the wilderness of sin is also in the book of Ezekiel. I don't know if it's in, there it is, Ezekiel 30 verse 16. And I couldn't really, I don't know if it was talking about the same place, but I just wanted to make sure I noted that real quick. What do we have here? Immediately upon arrival in the desert, they started to grumble. All right, that's where we're at. The wilderness of sin is also called the desert of sin. The name sin has no relation to the English word sin. I remember I used to think that. It is merely the name of the region, although its similarity to the name Sinai and its proximity to Sinai suggests a possible connection. There we go again with the possible, assuming, maybe, perhaps. All right, I'm not a big fan of those words. Okay, yeah, it's actually pronounced seen, like S-E-E-N. This is, I think this is a separate I got this from a different source, from a Bible encyclopedia. This next portion here. It says, the area may have derived its name from the ancient moon god Sin, who was worshipped by desert dwellers. I'm not sure about this. A city of Egypt, I mean, obviously Egypt was a very pagan nation. They worship different gods, so I guess that's not far-fetched. A city of Egypt mentioned only in Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 15, Ezekiel 30, verse 16. This seems to be a pure Semitic name. The ancient Egyptian name, if the place ever had one, such, there we go again, is unknown. Then we have this Greek, because I think in certain Greek manuscripts, they translate this wilderness of sin as Pelusium. Okay, Pelusium, which also means the clayed or muddy town. So the reason why I put this in here, I guess, one is just for fun facts, information, for those of you who like this kind of stuff. But for me, what drew me out is mud. And when I looked up the word sin, and I looked it up in the concordance, it would say things like, you know, clay, thorn, sin equals thorn or clay, a town in eastern Egypt. But, you know, that's what I saw, thorn, clay. And then I started seeing this article, and it's like clay, muddy town in this particular translation. I guess the Greek Septuagint, if I'm not mistaken. It says the Pelusiac mouth of the Nile was the muddy mouth. And the modern Arabic name of this mouth has the same significance. These facts make it practically certain that the Vulgate, or the Latin Bible, Jerome's Latin Bible from 390 to 405 AD, is correct in identifying sin with Pelusium. But although Pelusium appears very frequently in ancient history, its exact location is still not yet entirely certain. My point to showing this was that not only are they hungry, y'all, but it is a muddy place. I just wonder, are they tenting out on muddy, soggy soil? You know what I mean? They just traveled, they just went through the Red Sea on dry ground, and they saw the enemy swallowed up behind them, and now they're hungry, and they stop at this place that is muddy and clayey. So just think about, like, those of us who live in America, we're living well, we have AC, hot water. I mean, try celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles in a tent on some kind of campground. You know, make you know, I challenge you to make it even, not that I've attained this type of challenge, but can you imagine no electricity, completely surviving off natural resources? What if it rains and then it's muddy and nasty and wet? I mean, and you put hunger on top of that, you're not going to be very comfortable. So I just wanted to share that, just kind of get into it, kind of feel the moment. But I'll give it over to my wife to share something else.